And when I say that, I mean that in the fact that it's been going on since I was maybe 3 years old.
Hot dang.
Yeah. So
Okay.
and if you know how old I am,
Yeah,
then you know that's a long time, right? So I've been going there since I was a kid every year, like till I was at least maybe a teenager, maybe like 13 or 14 years old. We went every year. My folks would love to take us there because I suppose they were doing up the house, or
Yeah.
just for ideas. And
But look,
stuff like that.
I've been there once, and even though like you know, like okay, I'm a homeowner, but I don't really worry too much about that kind of stuff. It's just something else, you know. There's something for everyone to see, and what's really interesting is that
It's innovative.
Exactly.
The innovations that you get there, like heated tiles and stuff like that. I mean, 10 years ago, you never have thought, or maybe not 10 years, 15 years ago, you never thought of something like that, but it would have premiered at that show.
Now,
No?
to consider that, you know, this year the Gasham House and Garden Show did something unique.
Yeah.
They had an entire wing, I'm told,
Yeah.
dedicated to geekdom.
To
as
give
it
them,
were.
yeah. So there was a separate gaming section where they had esports, okay, and then there was like a man cave section where they had TVs and stuff like that, and gaming, home leisure and sound and stuff. And in between that, there was a massive hall where it was only to do with geeking out, with graphic novels, bargain books. Where there was the Shire from Joburg. They were there with their Harry Potter stuff. There was I'm just gonna tell you some of the stores over there. There was the Unseen Shop. Unseen Shop, if you don't know, is a little shop down here in Durban that does board gaming.
Yeah, and role play games.
role-play
Really
games.
cool, yeah, really cool guys.
Very cool guys. So they were there, and there's Black Cave Comics we just chatted about earlier. They're up in Hillcrest. They do similar sort of board games and role playing games and stuff like that. So you can check those two guys out. And then there was those smaller stores that do like 3D printing and of like earrings and little plastic figures and stuff like that. We were there. There was Geek Out Inc. T-shirts and caps and plushies
Other
and stuff.
novelties,
and novelty collectibles as well. Nazim,
Yes.
he was there. He had a store there as well, and it was terrific because what it wasn't only geek fans who were there, and there were some terrific cosplay again.
Oh,
Some amazing cosplay.
that's just
again.
become my
It's
expectation
like,
now for the guys in Durban.
you
You
know,
guys just leveling up like crazy.
And Matthew and Lara, who were the organizers, but Matthew,
Yes.
who was the organizer, he took it, for months in advance. He thought about this, like he had a treasure hunt where each stall had to have a little trinket of sorts that we had to hide in the store, that stood out from the store, and each entrant had to go and find that thing, write it down with clues and a map, and they had to go around to each stall. So they got to visit every single stall.
Wow.
And then there was a prize for the person who found all of them, and it was fantastic. I mean, it's probably going to happen again this year, but I don't know if it's going to be at the House and Garden show. But like I was saying, what was good was it got people who weren't there necessarily for the geekdom to actually see firsthand what cosplayers and what the merch we keep and other stuff, and they were like totally amazed because it's something different for kids to interact, and it was really good. I think Geekful was a really good event for the community, and I hope it happens again in a spectrum that's so broad. I think there was like 50,000 people
My
at that
word, that's crazy.
at that event,
That
so
is
that was
crazy.
fantastic.
That's
And then
crazy.
a couple of weeks later, or a week later, was Icon. Now
Yes, Icon I was there for.
Right, so
Yeah.
Icon was
Icon
used,
was-
it is rebranded this year to Icon Durban, previously known as Icon by the Sea.
Yes, yes.
And that's been hosted by Outer Limits,
The Nexus,
the
yeah.
Nexus,
the hub,
the hub for
yeah.
many years. Grant's been involved for many years.
Oh,
right?
Grant, what a topo!
yeah.
Like,
Very,
like,
very
like,
cool
if you ever you get to meet, like, doesn't Grant remind you of sort of like Gandalf? You know, like gangster Gandalf.
Well, yeah, in a way, and he's so knowledgeable as well, and always there to help, and always there to listen, and
You know, like the thing is,
he understands, I think, where a lot of us come from.
Yes, exactly.
I think he's got a
exactly.
good
That is
understanding.
really like
Patient
fatherly
as well. Very
nature.
fatherly,
really.
very fatherly.
You know, like you know, like, and what I like is like a lot of people get this mixed up. You know, they think that like older school fans, for lack of a better term, are very elitist. I know like a lot of newer fans tend to have that feeling, like the comic store owners and the other guys are a bit elitist and
Or
that, like,
arrogant,
arrogant because you're not gonna
intimidating.
get you know. But like this is one guy who is, you know, like exactly the kind of thing where you will learn and understand that, okay, wow, what a gentleman, you know, what a cool dude. And like he'll take the time out to explain things to you in the
And a long time.
Yeah.
He will explain stuff to you, like if it needs an explanation, he will sit there, he will explain everything to you, he'll talk you through it.
Topo.
Give
Yeah,
you
but no,
advice
the
on it.
Icon this year was really cool. Like Icon.
It's amazing to see how Icon has grown,
Mm.
the Durban one.
Yeah.
Because we were involved in the first one,
Mm.
and it was terrific. I thought it was terrific for what it was, because I thought that's the limit.
Yeah. Yeah.
The next year, even though it was the same venue, it got bigger. And in the following year, it was moved to the UKZN,
Yeah.
and it was better. We doubled, I think, the crowd from the previous year.
Mm-hmm.
And a phenomenal job that Shelley and
the rest of the
Shop,
team,
the
yeah,
local guys.
It's just
put
amazing
together.
what
It's
they do,
amazing.
because like, you know, more than just like the comic books and the graphic novels and, you know, figures and the like. There's such a showing for the guys with LAN gaming, and there's such a showing for the guys with the tabletop game. And what I really like about it is that they had the space, you know, and they just had the games out there, and you could go and you could just hang out and, you know, get a game, free play, and, you know, somebody would teach you how to play if you didn't know,
you could
and
watch,
this and that.
You could sit down with them, somebody would show you. A lot of the time, the players were taking time out to show people how to play.
Yes.
You know?
And that's really what we want to do out here, especially in Durban. You know, like in Durban, I think because like, you know, like it's slightly smaller in inverted commas. You know, I like that, you know, so many people are taking the time out to actually try to foster these relationships between different people and give new fans a space to actually come in, as it were.
That's it.
You know,
you know when something actually has made a difference to someone is when they're done with the day and they're leaving, and then they're asking you when's the next one.
Yes. Oh, that's I think that's the best feeling.
That's the best feeling, because it
That's
means
the best feeling.
you go out to try harder next time to make make the show or event better, fan experience for the people who are coming, and that's the and that's where I feel that that's the takeaway from these events that we found, and I think that's what spurred people like Shelley and Grant on to make Icon bigger. It's the people, because if they were only getting 700 people or 500 people, we'd be comfortable, because it'll just be the current players and the current guys and all that. But
now we're talking thousands, you know, we're talking a
couple of thousand.
So many different people from different walks of life, you know. But so that's definitely beautiful. You know, many people feel like, you know, there's not a whole lot going on. There really is. It's just a matter of whether you are participating or not. You know, so that brought us around to my birthday month, to August. All right. So
it was your birthday.
Yes. So much of fun. I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about my gifts. Like, so every year I get like some really kick-ass gifts. I want to talk a little later about you know, the different things that came out. We'll talk about that. But I just want to go through the events, you know. So in August, what were we up to in August?
We started talking roundabout. We started saying 55 days left for the con. And 50 days. Started counting down.
Yes.
And then our now good friend Stephen popped down to Durban for the activation with Comic Con.
That guy, right? That guy.
We flew down.
We got him down to Westfield Mall. Yes.
Westfield Mall, who were nice enough to allow us space to do this activation where we could inform people about the event, what to expect, you know, the different zones, about ticket. I think.
We gave away tickets.
We gave away tickets. We gave away VIP tickets.
We had a draw for that. Yeah.
We had a draw for VIP tickets.
That was awesome.
And you know, it was giving again. It was the activations that we do is more about informing people and trying to you know, expose people to the idea of the geekdom. You know.
Can I share a story with you from that day? There's one thing that stands out to me. So there was this. There were actually two people that stand, but I want to talk about this girl, right? So this it's not that kind of a story, but just to start it out there, right? So this girl rocks up there, and she was there early in the morning, you know, and so she came, she walked, she checked, she walked back, she came, and she went away, she came back, checked, you know, looked around, went away, came back, and she was looking for it was a rock candy. You know the vinyl vixens.
Oh yeah,
Is that rock candy?
Rock
Yes.
candy. No, vinyl vixen is something else. But rock candy, yeah.
Okay, it was rock candy and vinyl vixens.
Yeah.
There's two things, but it was a poison ivy, and you know, and this is the beauty of it. You know, when you get a fan who can traditionally uses gambit for
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
illustrative purposes. You know, like when somebody picks a thing up, they look at it, and then they turn it around, and they just look at it, they hold it, and they put it back. You know, and they stop, and they come back, and they like no, and they walk away. And then you're like, shame, you know, and then they come back. So this girl did this like twice or thrice. And the Nas noticed this. And I distinctly recall that she was like, okay, listen, you really, really want it. And she's like, no, I really, really want it. And Nas was like, okay, look, I'll tell you what I can do for you, right? I'll give it to you at this price of year. So Nas gave her a discount. Plus, she offered her the benefit of a payment plan. This girl said, no, I actually have enough money with it. You know, I can buy it. But you know, thank you for the discount. And like, you know, that but you know, that moment when she had it, you know, she did this like this little giggle, and you know, you know, like, okay, I can't, I hope I'm gonna describe it properly, but she like sort of like jumped up and like clicked her heels together. You know, like, there was a moment where she was like this, and I was like, and like I was watching this, I was like, you know, what happened there? And she was so excited when she got away, you know, and I was just like, wow, you know, that's awesome. You know, like when you have like a fan who comes across something that they really, really like, and you know, they get it, that feeling, there's no better feeling, you know?
No, it's true. I mean, part of when you start a business, you're thinking finances. You're thinking how much are you going to get back your investments? Are you going to be a success and all those things? That's natural when you're starting a business. One thing that this business has brought to us is you get to see that takeaway. You get to see the joy in people when they're getting something. Because remember, these things are more than gifts. They're more part of your representation, you know, projection of your taste directly. You know, you don't get that normally when it's a car or a house or other things, because those are necessities that you're doing the best you can. With something like this is something that you don't really need.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's something that you save up money for. You go and you spend it, and it's something that it's at the end there's a piece of plastic or a piece of polystone or whatever it is. But the amount of joy people take away from it.
Exactly.
It fills us with that drive to go and do more, and you know, like you said, Nas offered a payment plan, and I think that for something like a 200 rand item, when you think about that, you know, the only trade-off that it could have been was to get that reaction at the end of the thing, where somebody is so excited to get this one item that they would have seen as a child or always loved or whatever it is. And we see that on a weekly or daily basis, where people are like, oh, I remember that from my childhood, I have to get it, you know. And it's we feel take it upon ourselves to try and help them get it, you know. So you know, in that instance, I mean, that's another thing that's been rewarding in this you know, instance. And I'm sure like you've been now doing giveaways and stuff. There's no point in doing it without you seeing the joy on the other end.
And that's it. That's all you want to create.
That's what you want to try and get. So you know, I mean, there's no other point in you giving away something for free.
Yeah.
That you spend time and money on. The only reason why you've done it is to make somebody happy.
Damn straight.
That's it. So at the end of the day, that's another thing that we have in this community. That's, you know,
that's pretty beautiful. But you know, on the topic, there's two things I wanna close out with on that one. The first one being, you know, the issue of that payment plan. Elsewhere on this channel, we're going to do a video with an illustrative example of how the payment plans work. So, you know, anything you see on the website, any of the stuff you might have seen behind us here in the video, that you might be interested in getting from Project Mayhem, you know, they do have the benefit of a zero interest payment plan. So just look for the video elsewhere on the channel. We'll tell you a little bit more about how that works and how you can use that the way I do to actually finance pretty much your whole collection, you know. That's the one point. So that video will be coming up sometime soon. In addition to that though, I do want to talk about Steven, just one closing point on Steven, and this message is specifically for Steven. Boss, you won't know where, you won't know when, you're not going to understand how, but I will demolish that money. I will demolish it, and you are going to learn. You are going to learn.
So I think next activation, when Steven comes down.
Yeah.
That's the challenge.
That's a challenge. I'm gonna show him because.
But it has to be a Durban bunny chow.
It has to be.
We don't know if he's gonna rig the bunny chow.
Yeah, no, I can't take a chance. So what happened for those of you who didn't watch it? There is this ongoing challenge, Zaid versus Steve, and in
let
the
me tell
first.
you, nobody. No, let me just butt in. Nobody instigated this challenge besides Zaid.
Yeah, it wasn't my.
No, it wasn't even
my
a
best
challenge. It was
idea.
like, let's just go and catch a chow. Oh, I bet you I can do this thing.
It seemed like such a good idea at the time, but no, not my finest moment ever. So we ordered this bunny chow. I chose the chow. I chose the place and everything. We go there. I was like, no, now you're gonna learn. Now you're gonna learn. And like this guy just like very calmly ate his bunny chow, and I was there, and I was sweating, and I couldn't breathe, and then my eyes started watering, and then
You cried, Zaid.
yeah, shut up. So what whatever, man. What happened after that? What happened next month?
Well, that was August, right? September.
Oh.
Okay, so September
my God.
started with us doing the IVB Children's Day.
The children's home thing with
Children's Day.
yeah, that was awesome.
That was on the 1st of September.
Yeah, so we partnered up with Stay Kinikon there, huh?
Yeah, we assisted
Yeah.
Sir Kineko with they did a movie day at, well, amongst other companies that were there, like Spur and do you know?
Yeah, there were so many big names there, you
so
know.
many companies. I
but-
remember Spur standing at one of the companies that were there, and they just gave these kids. Is it a children's home? Different children's homes.
yeah, it was I think it was like about 100 children's homes
Yeah, there were
in and
4,000
around
kids
Durban.
there.
Yeah.
4,000
And so just to
kids.
basically give them a day out,
Okay.
and so the guys from Stay Kinikon approached Project Mayhem
Yeah.
to partner up. So they had a movie day. So they created like a cinema, and it was awesome. They
Created
had
a cinema.
popcorn and slushies and the works, and
And we got some cosplayers.
that's
too,
right. That's right.
Just to and let me tell you something. Right? We had there's some pictures you'll see online. I think a little bit of video, but what is amazing is that the cosplayers were dressed up. And again, thanks to them, I think I don't want to miss out anybody. But I
So
all
they
of them.
know who they
They
are.
know
They
who
know
they
who
are.
they are.
and in the pictures, you'll see who they are, and they were fantastic, and they were patient with these kids because I think they took over 2,000 pictures maybe.
Yeah.
There were a lot of
Yeah.
pictures, and
Yeah.
and the kids really thought that these were the real superheroes.
It
from the
was just
movies.
like surreal. It
fantastic,
was
amazing.
just surreal. You know,
Ron
there's this one.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Ron dressed up as Spider-Man, and the kids were like, "Oh my God, hello Spider-Man, how are you, Spider-Man?" And like they really thought Spider-Man had come to visit them.
You know, and then there was Lauren as well,
You know,
as Wonder Woman. And wow, there was this, again, there are a few moments that stand out to you.
Yeah.
And so there's one little girl, and this girl was tiny, like, okay, not that tiny, but like tiny.
Just
And she came over there, and like, she just stood there in front of Lauren, like dressed up as
Oh,
Wonder Woman, and
yeah.
just like, and so like Lauren like goes down, and she just hugs this kid, and she just hugs
I
this
think we got it
kid.
in video as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
We got
and
it
there
in
was just
video,
this moment where she's just hugging this kid, and you could just see like something lit up in the
Lit
child,
up, like, you see
like
the comfort the child took, and
that was just something
it
else.
was
Just something
it was
else.
fantastic.
So that was a beautiful thing. And I
That
think
was-
that was what we needed. Like even for me, like
it was like
ground me.
just ground, because we've been so busy the entire year, we don't really have time to sit up and take note of things. And this was one of the things that we actually got to spend the entire day with these kids, and it was awesome. I think you and I drank slushy,
a lot of
a
slashes.
lot of slushy, like
A lot of slushy.
2 liters of slushy
Yeah.
that day each.
Yeah, I was peeing blue like a
That
week
was like
after.
crazy. I mean, and like the amount of slushy these kids drank, and they got stuff to take away, like pack. So they had stuff to anybody
It
involved.
was
with that.
beautiful. It was really
With that
amazing.
charity. It was fantastic.
And,
I hope we do it. I hope we get to do it.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah, so
awesome. That would be
Time
awesome.
allows you.
That would be awesome. I think like I'd like to do a cosplay, but I don't think my Venom one's gonna work for that.
No, you'll scare some children. shit, that's,
Probably not a good idea. So
it's not
I'm gonna
good.
revisit that one day.
Yeah.
Maybe my chocolate He-Man one, my chocolate He-Man costume.
I think that might be more scary. Alright.
But so that's how September started out.
Yeah, and then we'd like to say we took 2-week break,
Uh-huh.
but I think
I don't think anyone had a
I
break.
don't think we had a break. I think we went up to Joburg for a couple of other meetings
Mhm.
with the Comic Con team
Yes.
to see the venue and stuff.
Yes.
And exhibitor briefings and
Yeah,
stuff.
that was between August and September. I remember.
sometime,
Yeah,
I
it was
remember
such a
that
busy
there.
time.
It was busy. And then again, we were, practically getting ready for our trip. I think in that 2 weeks we were making sure we had everything ready, card machines and services at the venue and stuff. And let me just tell you that whatever, it's very rare. Like, I mean, we all expect something to go wrong when you're doing an event, especially with, I'm so paranoid about things like that. And it's happened in the past where things, just something small, nothing major, but stuff goes wrong and doesn't work out up to plan. Just have to say that Reed exhibitions, whatever we put down on paper and agreed on, I have no complaints. Especially at exhibitor level, it's hard for people to say that. There were these logistic issues with the venue and all those things, but we won't get into all that because that's all by the by. That's retrospectively when you're trying to give an opinion on, or your input. But if I have to say that what Reed promised us for what we got in the prep leading up to it, phenomenal. We knew exactly what to do when we got there. We knew exactly what was expected of us. We knew the times that we had to set up, get ready, and the type of stock we needed for the event. Guys got us prepared like really early for it. So it wasn't a culture shock or any problem. We went there and we knew we just had to sell. That's it. And it's comforting when you have that. You just have to rock up there with your stuff and do what you're good at doing. And that's what we did. And I think that's why for us it was success, is because we knew what to expect. Having gone there and not knowing where I'm going, right or left or whatever it was, would have been a problem. But this one, we knew what to expect. It was like phenomenal. I don't know. I don't know if enough has been said about Comic Con. From people. I think you and I we did a thank you video, but we never actually get a chance to edit.
Yeah, no, we must actually work with that. Like I distinctly recall, like, okay, my
and we were finished that day. It was like,
my experience with Comic Con was slightly different. Obviously a very positive experience, but I think, at the risk of sounding incredibly arrogant, I think I'm the only person in South Africa who experienced Comic Con the way I got to experience Comic Con.
100%. And I don't think you expected to do that.
No.
I think Zaid thought he's gonna go there with his phone, his mic, walk around, interviewing people like
just something else, Like, I was very blessed, very fortunate to, hang with the Comic Con team when it came to the actual, background stories, behind the scenes stuff. Some of that stuff.
Mention some of that.
Well, okay, so like start from the top down, in no particular order. That sounds so, contradictory, but obviously Carol Weaving, just to start out there. I mean, Carol gave me this opportunity. She embraced. I mean, she has a world-class brand. She is the I think, like, for South Africa, for Africa, she's in charge of Reed Pop and what they're doing here. And to have like a small brand like mine, giving me that platform to say, okay, look, do this, run with it. That was just like a phenomenal opportunity and was very truly life-changing. And when I think about the other guys like Elaine and Renee, giving me again, that leeway to do my thing. Then there's Patrick, pat in the hat. That man, what a gentleman. If you are ever fortunate enough to be that man's friend, it'll change your life. Then there's Steven. Okay, like Steven, I can't really say anything good about him because there's the Bunny Chow incident. But other than that, what a gentleman.
Steven's fantastic. I mean, he goes above and beyond. I mean, he's really in charge of the social media, marketing side of things.
Yeah.
But the amount of help and hands-on, attention that he gives the exhibitors, from my point of view as well, not just because he's become a friend now, it's more along the lines of how far, and above and beyond he's gone to try and try to help us, make us feel comfortable. Even Martin.
Yeah, Martin and even Brian as well.
Brian as well. I mean, Brian was my first contact into Comic Con.
Yeah.
And he was, I think at that point, on that February date, he was the only salesman really, I think, at the venue at that day. And to deal with all those people and all those questions,
No, it's mad. It's
crazy. And one thing I will say about the prop teams is, even Carmen, who you mentioned, she was in charge of services for the stand, and they always made themselves available.
That's it.
And if somebody's in charge of something, you wouldn't find them doing other things. They would take care of that particular problem for you. If you had a problem, there was somebody there to sort your problem out. Absolutely. And I think as an exhibitor, that's all you need.
That's it. That's just it. Even the other girls, like you mentioned Carmen, there's also Janae, there's Lungi at the time. Lungi, I believe, has since left. But you know, like all of them, you know, like they made that time for everyone,
Yep.
and I won't lie, like I said, you know, the good and you get the good and the bad, like the you know, with my involvement in Comic Con, you know, there were a fair amount of questions and queries that you know I had to field, or at least like, you know, just assist with until you know somebody could handle it, you know. But you know,
Yeah.
there was some crazy requests, man. There was some crazy requests, and
Well,
like,
we're dealing with a whole country full of people. Some of them are not initiated to the genre,
yeah.
coming out in the element for the first time. You know what I mean?
Curiously enough, though, and if I can just say this, you know, I'm not going to embarrass anyone, but curiously enough, I found that the noobs, as it were, you know, the people who don't know this thing, were actually a lot more easygoing and understanding. It was actually some people who you'd expect to know better, you know, who actually like came with some of the requests that you were like, dude, we got like 45,000 people to deal with. We can't we can't be expected to deal with, you know, that particular issue right now. I don't think that's going to make sense. But on the whole, you know, what it taught me was that, you know what, South Africa does have the capacity for, you know, like for Comic Con, and you know we've done it before. We're going to do it again next year. You know, in September 2019, it's going to be bigger, more better, more badass. And if I can tell,
sorry,
yeah, sure.
Just say something like we were chatting about the new show.
Yeah.
We were up at Reed recently.
Yeah, yeah.
If we're doing, you must remember it's going to be a bigger show. It's going to be a bigger show. It's going to be a better show. It's a different venue. So essentially, it's a new show.
Yeah. Yeah.
So people also need to be patient with the fact that if this is the template we are building on, it's another show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even from us, when we are approaching it now as an exhibitor, we're approaching it totally different from what we did last year. So it's another show for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same way people will need to understand that although it's the same name, the same brand, it's a different show. Because what they're doing essentially is taking the old show, keeping the good stuff, and squashing the old stuff and making it better.
Yeah.
So you got to be patient with those things. If you want something better, you're gonna have to have the teething problems and the issues that are gonna go with it. And they are gonna be. It's not gonna be perfect. It's gonna be the best that it can be for what we putting, what everybody's putting on. Exhibitors, people who are attending, the guests, just the organizers. You know, it's just going to be something that we all have to work together to make successful,
Absolutely.
including the people who are attending.
Absolutely.
I don't think that the issues that were had at the show were done with a disregard for people who are attending the show. I think those are genuine teething problems where the weather is not something that people can control.
Yeah.
The distance to walk is not something that you. I mean, a lot of people are like, "Oh, you should have golf carts, you should have this and that."
But you know what?
The logistics involved in those kind of things don't make sense.
It doesn't play out
Doesn't
sometimes.
play out
You know?
sometimes. You know, 40,000 people, 20,000 golf carts.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. work. You know, like, and I'm just hoping next year, like, there's a video campaign that I'm going to be embarking. Well, I've started, but you know, like, intensifying in the months to come, just with some tips and tricks for Comic Con. Last year, when I told you guys, you know, I'd do some walking, carry the potatoes in your bag, you should have listened, man. You should have done the thing. You should have done the thing. You know.
I remember doing events 15 years ago, with, you know, in my profession, and a lot of people are surprised by the amount of walking that they have to do in the exhibition. And a big exhibition, we've got to do a lot of walking.
Yeah.
In New York Comic Con and San Diego Comic Con, a lot of the things that happen in the city, not necessarily in the same precinct. You got to get in a car and go to different halls and different places. I only found that out later. I always thought it was one major thing, but I've since learned that it's such a massive event that things happen across the street, in another venue, on another floor. So we were fortunate enough that everything happened on different floors. It was a bit of a walk, was a bit far, but manageable.
Well, you know, you know, to take the positive from that, you know, you're so right. But you know, like I said, the lesson was learned. Lessons were learned, and you know, like the few hiccups were, you know, throughout that's endemic. It's part and parcel of the process. So it's gonna, like I said, bigger, better, more badass. And I can tell you, like that week, because the show